What's up, Senders? Dr. J here, coming at you talking about grip. Specifically, I want to hone in on foam grips. While many of you may have gotten to know me through product reviews and ride videos, this channel at its inception has been about me sharing my knowledge as a physical therapist and how to help you with on-the-bike performance. With that, I really feel like there are some performance benefits to be had by running these sort of foam or silicone grips. I've been running a set on my 2020 Santa Cruz Hightower for over a year now. I absolutely love these things. I used to think they were ridiculous. I used to think that they were just for people who were trying to save a few grams, but after riding them, there are some real key benefits, and I want to share those with you right now, especially in how they relate to hand pain, hand numbness, forearm pump. This video is intended to be the first installment of a multi-part series on how to kill the vibes. Which brings me to the first key benefit to running foam grips, and that is reducing vibration on the bike. Prolonged exposure to vibration has been shown time and time again in the research to have detrimental effects. Specifically on the bike, when we have extended exposure to vibration, that increases the activation of the muscles in the forearm and in the hand that control grip. That increases their oxygen demand, which increases the blood flow to these key areas, which is what causes forearm pump. Additionally, that increased muscle activation will cause the muscles to fatigue quicker. Who hasn't got to the bottom of your favorite downhill and have your forearms and your hands screaming at you? Who's not been to the bike park and would have given anything to have had better endurance in their grip, because it's killing the downhill? And I've really appreciated these silicone grips and their potential to cut down on vibration, which can increase your grip performance. On the very package of these Wolf Tooth silicone grips, this is a 100% silicone compound. It provides excellent vibration damping. And I'll have to say, anecdotally, having ran these for the past year, I do feel like that's the case. Now, the next key benefit to running these silicone grips is the fact that you can actually pick a size that fits you. A lot of the standard grips are actually too narrow for most riders, and they certainly have little to no vibration dampening effect. Sweet bro, so I'm just gonna get the fattest grip that I can find. It's gonna fix everything, right? Wrong. Definitely most taller riders and even average size riders could probably benefit from going to one of these thicker grips. But that does not mean that you should just pick the fattest one possible and it's gonna be so ergonomic. We can actually be much more scientific than that. There is a way to actually determine which grip size you should pick. So how do you pick a size that fits you? It's actually really simple. There's been a lot of research in the field of ergonomics that evaluates how to appropriately size a cylindrical handle. And while there is some subtle variability among research studies, the general consensus is the optimal size diameter of a cylindrical handle is 18% of the individual's hand length. So the length of your hand is actually measured from what is called your distal wrist crease. So basically, if you're coming down from your palm, it's the first crease you come to, all the way to the very tip of your middle finger. So tip of the middle finger to the wrist crease, measure that, multiply that by 18%. That is your optimal grip diameter. So for me personally, when I measure out the length of my hand, I get about 195 millimeters. If you multiply that by 18%, that comes out to be right at 35 millimeters. So I could actually go either way between the extra chunky ESIs, which are actually 34 millimeters installed, or these fat paws, which are 36 millimeters installed. The Mega Fat Paw actually has a whopping 40 millimeters of installed diameter. That's the biggest grip that you can find on the market. These fat paws, they actually have a 36 mil diameter. Wolf Tooth claims that even these are some of the biggest grips that you can find on the market. Then you can drop on down from there in the Wolf Tooth lineup, and they have the carved grips, which have a 32 mil diameter. And then from there, they have the razor, which is a 30 mil diameter, which is actually what my wife is currently running. she really gets along with those well. The ESI grips are arguably the OG silicone grip. They also have a variety of different sizes. Between these two brands, you can really dial in your size. I've now been running these fat paws on my new Kona Hanzo ESD for about a month, and especially on a hardtail, I really appreciate how much they cut down on the vibration, but I also appreciate having a grip that feels like it's sized appropriately. If your grip is way too big, imagine palming a basketball. All the muscles are so lengthened, they're not gonna be able to work optimally. On the other end of the spectrum, if your grips are way too tiny, your muscles are extremely shortened, and again, they are not going to fire optimally. They're not gonna have the endurance that they could have. There's a reason why there's been so much money poured into the field of ergonomics, so that workers can not only reduce their chance of injury, but perform at their highest level by having handles that are appropriately sized. We then, as mountain bikers, should want to take a page from their playbook and glean useful information on how to simply pick a grip size that fits our hand size. Now, the next big benefit from running these foam grips is the ability for these grips to sort of conform to your hand. In fact, on the back of the Wolf Tooth package, it says that these are 100% silicone compound. It conforms to your hand for improved comfort. Think about a shoe insert, particularly like a gel or a softer shoe insert. The reason that those are comfortable is because they sort of mold to the contours of the arch of your foot. We all have to rest part of our weight into the handlebars, so it is nice for these silicone grips to be able to mold and contour to what is not a flat surface. You also have a couple of canals or tunnels where your median and your ulnar nerves run through. When those get overly compressed, that can be what contributes to the numbness that a lot of riders experience in their hands. Riding these silicone grips by decreasing the vibration and conforming to the contours of your hands can help to decrease that numbness. And so the last big benefit that I can personally think of from running these foam grips is the grip. On the back of the Wolf Tooth package, Tacky texture works with or without gloves in all weather conditions, and certainly these do continue to grip fairly well when they're wet. I personally like to wear gloves when I'm riding, but if you're someone who does not, these are gonna be a pretty good option, because even with hand sweat or in wet weather, they're gonna help you maintain your grip better than just a typical rubber compound that tends to get fairly slippery when they're wet. And the less you're slipping around on the grip, the less strength you're having to exert, which can improve your grip strength endurance. So those are the benefits that I can personally find from running these silicone grips. Definitely use that 18% times the length of your hand as at least a starting point on how to size yourself up for these grips. Put into consideration if you wear a thicker or padded glove. If you fall in between sizes, you definitely want to probably come down to the thinner size to account for the difference in the thickness that your gloves will create. And certainly if you just prefer a thinner or a thicker grip, going up a size in either direction is not going to make a huge difference. But I do encourage you to try to fall in that range or in that bell curve that fits your hand size, because I really feel like you're gonna notice a difference with it. And then the final thing I'll say is grips are one key component. There are many factors on bike components and bike setup that we're going to consider in this Kill the Vibe series. I'm actually super pumped to be able to review these 1UP carbon bars. Stay tuned for a review on these and how they fit in with killing the vibes. Also, we're going to be looking at tire inserts and how they can minimize vibration. We're also going to be looking at bike setup and some fitness pearls and doing everything that we can do to have optimal grip strength and performance on the bike. I hope you found this video helpful. Please consider subscribing to the channel, turn those notifications on so that you can stay up on this series and the other ride videos and product reviews. Really appreciate the support of the channel. As always, thanks for watching.